Welcome back to My Mythical Meta, your gaming podcast that's actually a secret friendship podcast. My name is Travis, and I'm joined by Benjamin.
Hello.
And Randy.
How's it going?
And Derek's out because his wife is off school and is in summer break.
Yep.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Getting in a little midweek pickleball.
Pickleball, right.
What have y'all been up to?
Man, so much work, just nonstop. I thought being on summer break, I thought working for myself would give me more free time, and boy was I wrong.
Mm-hmm.
One nice thing is my office is there's a Chipotle on the block. Like, you can see it from my desk, and so I could just walk to Chipotle, put in my order, walk in, grab it, walk back out, walk back to my. So I'm probably gonna get fat this summer.
You are living Travis's dream.
But yeah. But I will say this: it's basically the only walking I get done. So it's walking to Chipotle. So yeah, that's that. I am getting to spend a little more time with the family, and that's kind of nice to get to see the kids in the morning instead of leaving before they wake up. What about you, Randy?
Work's been not like busy, but like I've got a few more, I guess, like projects that like my boss's boss gave to me, so that's exciting. And then personally, just trying to juggle 6 tabs of Expedia, Booking.com, and things like that, trying to get all of our stuff for Japan booked. So we got all the hotels booked. So now it's just, we need to go through and I guess get anything else booked, Secret Labs and Mount Fuji stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get that stuff figured out. Buses, trains. So it's going to be fun. But it's like stressful, but I'm like excited for it.
I'm excited for y'all too. I can't imagine just going and doing whatever you want for 3 weeks. It sounds awesome.
No kids.
Right? That would be, well...
I'm sure it's harder when you have kids because you're like, I miss them.
Yeah. And that's a big part of it is, now that I've got kids, it's like I'm in a weird position where I want to actually do all these things with them, but also I want them to be old enough to experience it and for it to be worth them going through that experience, because otherwise you're just hauling around a 2-year-old who will have no memory of any of it.
Yeah. And then it's kind of not like souring your experience, but
yeah, a little bit.
This could have been more fun for everyone if you just had more cognitive control of everything.
Right.
If you weren't just a crazy maniac.
I mean, yeah, that's basically kids, and it's worth it. When I got home, my kids had created a little carnival in the living room where they had a little claw machine. You sit down, and they had shoved a chopstick through a piece of cardboard and put a button on the other side, and when you move the chopstick, they would move their hand, and then you hit the button, and they'd lower their hand and grab a toy and give it to you. And then they made like a little ball toss with prizes in the cups and a cup tower for you to knock over and get prizes, and it's just fun for them to do stuff like that, and you're like, man, if I hadn't had kids, it wouldn't, I wouldn't get to experience any of that, and it's awesome. But then also, there's definitely no trips to Japan when there's that. So highs and lows.
Yeah, I will experience the miracle of child rearing through y'all
by proxy.
I will watch y'all do it and be like, oh, that's cute. Anyway, back to my life of being a dink.
Dual income, no kids.
Yep.
That's awesome. This week I have been nursing Daisy back to health.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If the cone is not on her, then she will lick her wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And the cone is too big for her to sleep in her own crate.
Aww.
So I have been making the sacrifice and sleeping upstairs with her on the bed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's been pretty tough, y'all, to say goodbye to my wife and to have a whole bed to myself and share with just a dog curled up.
Yeah.
It's been pretty rough. But I also, have been super tired this week. I guess not sleeping in my normal bed has still kind of worn me out. But, it's whatever.
I think that means you're getting old.
That's probably true. To just be tired without any reason.
Yeah. Well, and to not get enough sleep even though you Just because you're not sleeping in your own bed.
Yeah.
We better fix that.
That's
3
right.
weeks without it.
Yeah, on the dog thing, I took Scout to the vet yesterday to get vaccinated, and he has heartworms.
Oh no!
We're gonna have to go. Apparently, the protocol for getting rid of heartworms is like a year long.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Oh God.
Kristen's parents, when they got their new dog Lily, she had heartworms, and it was they had like a 9-month program or something for her. Dang, that's too bad. Well, we wish Scout the best.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, we are starting a new series here at My Mythical Meta, something to occupy the summer while Randy and I are gone. This series is called Hot Takes. The idea for this came from Benjamin, and he has got some spicy ones coming up this summer, and you are really not going to want to miss our Hot Takes series. So make sure that you click subscribe and that you click that bell icon so that you can be notified for our new episodes coming out this summer. Our YouTube analytics are improving, y'all. The last time I mentioned these on the pod, we had about I think it was 76% of our viewers were not subscribed. Well, we're down to 67.
Is that because we have fewer viewers or more subscribers?
I think it's more subscribers. We have gone
good.
up 12 subscribers in the last month-ish. So that is pretty nice.
Right.
We're obviously still a young, fledgling, tiny baby podcast just learning to crawl. But it is nice to see the subscriber numbers steadily going up. So if you like what we're putting out and you're coming back each week for the new show, please click subscribe, click that bell. You are not going to want to miss this summer's events. We are going to have more hot takes and more news from the war fronts. We're going to start releasing news from the war fronts as their own individual solo episodes, which means that we can dig really deep into the nitty-gritty. We can take more time and address more specific situations. And they don't have to be connected to the episode we just talked about. So that gives us a whole lot more freedom with news from the warfront, and I think that's going to lead to much better content and better discussions overall. Quick shout out to our number one patron, David.
Ooh, David. All right.
Number one, our first patron, still here with us. David has been in the trenches when we were still just an ovum, when this podcast was just a twinkle in our eyes, and now he's seen us grown up and take our first steps. This episode is for him. Listeners, if you want to become a patron, you can find us at patreon.com/mymythicalmeta. Benjamin, tell us one major perk of being a patron.
Well, my favorite perk of being a patron is getting 20% off at eldoradogaming.com. Our patrons get a special coupon code that they can use as many times as they want at our parent site, eldoradogaming.com, where you can buy shiny metal dice, premium playmats, deck boxes, and other premium gaming accessories to level up your game. Kind of gives you a very nice feel. I will tell our listeners that we played Mage this past week.
Yeah.
And it was, we shared around some metal dice and it just made those rolls that much better.
Oh, man. I really enjoyed playing Mage with you guys this weekend.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was
You did a great job.
It was a first for me. and in all my tabletop RPGs.
What was the experience?
I had a character death.
Oh, I know.
My first character.
I was so sorry to do it.
Died. No. I mean, I would rather it happen instead of you pull the punches and kind of make it where it's there's no consequences.
Yeah.
So we were playing in person, and I did make a concerted effort. I think about 3 hours in, I was like, I'm not going to hide my rolls anymore. I'm just going to do my rolls out on the table. Derek is sitting across from me. Benjamin's sitting next to me. I'm just going to do them out so that people can see what I roll. And
I like that.
Yeah, there was one point where the 10 I was rolling exploded 3 times, and Derek was right there. He watched the whole thing. What did you guys think of playing in person versus playing online?
I prefer it.
Yeah, way better.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
It just grabs your attention, or keeps your attention more. If I have a computer in front of me, it's just so easy just to
open a new tab,
move my mouse over to open a little new tab, and just start reading something. I mean, typically don't. I try to stay zoned in, but if I want to look for something that's maybe referencing the game, but not. But it does take my attention away from what's being said sometimes. So I liked being a person. It's just a better feel.
Yeah,
I had a
Getting
blast.
those metal dice in your hand makes it so much better.
I hope you guys liked the story in general, and the few combat encounters that we had, and of course the big major climax where Randy got ghosted by a lightsaber.
Yep.
Yeah.
Became one with the
That's
Force.
right, became one with the Force. Audience, I gave him a choice. I was like, do you want to, Darth Sidious this thing and jump into somebody else's body? Do you want to become one with the Force and be a ghost that offers people advice? You want to roll up a character a new character for next session? Randy said, goodbye, Black Phoenix, roll up a new character.
Well, it was great because he like pulled up some music on his phone.
Yes.
Stood up, like, that's all stuff that you couldn't do online. So
it was a ton of fun. I'm really glad you guys liked it. Maybe we'll do another episode where we just kind of reminisce on how the first major arc of Mage went.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. All right, Randy, what is the next perk for patrons?
Early and ad-free content. You will always get the latest, greatest episodes of My Mythical Meta at Patreon without any ads or any other interruptions besides the ones that we throw in there because we go on a tangent.
Yeah.
The best ones.
New listeners, those ads are coming in, and if you're listening through Patreon, then you're not going to have those.
Beautiful.
Next, you'll also receive access to the My Mythical Meta Discord server. This is where we are right now whenever we record episodes. This is where we post our show notes in order to talk about them beforehand. We have a deck tech in the work for one of David's first commander decks, and we're very excited to get that material out and to take ideas and feedback directly from our patrons. Like I said, this summer is the summer of hot takes. We have some striking opinions that we usually keep to ourselves, and we are just gonna let them out and air out our dirty laundry, send our hot takes out into the meta, and see what we get back. We're gonna take the arrows of the other members of the meta on our opinions. And hot take number 1 is mine. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
Here's my hot take. Introverts make bad friends.
Boo.
No. I hate that first time, I get to know a person a little bit and they seem really cool, but then inevitably they end up to be an introvert instead. And I just what am I supposed to do? It's like pulling teeth to be friends with somebody because they'd rather be by themselves. So what am I supposed to do about that?
Well, they don't want to be by themselves all the time. Like, introverts like friends. But they just...
Nah, introverts don't like friends. They're like, no, I'd rather be by myself. I need to recharge. And then once they've
Yeah, they do say that.
And then once they've recharged, they're like, oh great, now I can recharge. They just need all this energy for staying at home and watching more Netflix, or okay, I'll give them a little leeway doing whatever other introvert hobby they have. I'm gonna garden, or I'm gonna read a book. It's like, okay, then why bother coming out at all if all you want to do is stay at home? I don't know. So here's my things. Introverts make bad friends. Introverts don't initiate spending time with people. It's always other people going to them and saying, hey, do you want to come out? Hey, do you want to play D&D? Hey, do you want to play a board game? And it's, I would love for people to ask me to hang out a couple times. It feels good to be pursued, And all these introverts are out there just playing coy. And then, once you do try to initiate spending time with people, guys, this happened to me a lot in college and soon after college when I was in my first 3 or 4 years of teaching. Finding people who agree to a hangout. They agree. They say, yes, I'll be there. I'll come. Yes, I'll be at this party. Yes, I'll be there every Thursday to play D&D or whatever. But then these introverts keep flaking on hangouts they've agreed to because something came up that day and they need to recharge. Ugh.
Yeah, that's one of those 3 strikes, you're out.
Yes.
For me.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If you have agreed to a hangout and then flake out on me for something, that's like either not showing up without anything is obviously the worst, but like an hour or two beforehand saying, "Ugh, I'm just so beat. Just need to recharge." And they always say I need to recharge.
That's because they know they're introverts and they can get away with it.
I know. They use it like an excuse.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of all the times Derek or I have been like, I'm just not feeling it tonight. When we don't want to podcast.
Don't want to pod.
And then they get online and play video games.
And then you get online and play Mass Effect. I know.
Hey, just to be clear, that's not me.
That's Derek. We know.
Right.
But if he's recorded, 36 episodes and has flaked on 4 of them, that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent, and we've done a few episodes without you.
Yeah.
And,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think overall this is not targeted at anybody in the meta because we are pretty consistently, like, when we say we're gonna hang out on a Saturday, we show up.
Yeah.
And when we say we're gonna hang out on a Thursday to record, here we are, right? And if we have to cycle through and miss a few people, okay.
Yeah.
But I will say this. So I'm married to an introvert, and I am constantly seeing her make the effort to connect with people. She has friends that she hangs out with regularly every Tuesday and Thursday. She will call people to make plans consistently, and she has scheduled her recharge time as best she can with, when you have 4 kids, it's kind of hard to find recharge time. But, she has her designated recharge time, which is kids, go to your room and take a nap. and she can get stuff done or whatever. Or now that I'm working from home, it could be, I'm going out, if y'all have an emergency, bother your father. Or whatever it is, right? But the point is that she can separate those two things and still be a good friend. She's still available. She has longtime friends that she has on her calendar. Like, call this person, call that person, or whatever. And I'm sure it wears her out to stay that connected to people. But it also, it allows her to have deep friendships. Because introverts don't necessarily not like hanging out with people. They just don't like hanging out with people that they don't know very well. And the more they get to know somebody, the easier it is for them to hang out with someone without feeling like they need to recharge.
Sure.
So,
but do introverts not feel the need to make new friends?
I think, well, it depends on their life situation, right? If they have 5 friends that they see every week, that's probably good enough.
I'm just like, I don't know. It feels weird to be like, no, I'm good. That's an extra person. That's, well, I mean, let me try to word it another way. Like,
no, word it with your hot take.
Oh, okay.
Sell the sizzle, not the takes.
Okay, so it's kind of like a boy who cried wolf problem. It's like if an introvert tells me too many times that they can't hang out, and then all of a sudden, calls or texts and says, hey, we should do something, I'm going to remember all the times that they either flaked or didn't want to hang out with me.
Yep.
And that is going to make me not really want to hang out with them either. I feel like with a lot of introverts out there, I have to, convince them to spend time with me. I have to prove that the time they spend with me is worth it.
Yeah.
And then that hanging out is just so inconvenient that they have to charge up beforehand and recharge afterwards. It just seems, I don't know, like I'm not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth the effort.
Or,
well, maybe you're
devil's
not.
advocate on their end, maybe it's like they're physically or mentally drained and they don't want to go in half-assed. Like, they don't want to show up because they agreed to, but then be
miserable the whole time.
Debbie Downer and bring your state down. They're like, it's better for me to not go than to go and put a bad taste in your mouth.
I think that's a fallacy, though. I think that's selfish. That's the same people who tell a romantic partner that it's not you, it's me, I'm not good enough for you.
Right.
Like, let me choose that.
Well, they don't want to let you choose that. They want to choose it for you.
Yeah.
Or they're scared that you're going to choose what they're afraid of, which is to not be with them.
But they're making that choice by not letting me be with them.
Sure. Wouldn't you rather be the rejecter than the rejectee, even if it's you?
I don't know.
Let's say it really is you, and you're like, look, I'm screwing up this relationship, and I I'm toxic and I need to improve myself and whatever, and I'm I'm a Debbie Downer, I'm miserable, but it's not anything they've done, it's my own personal problems. So I could either wait this out and get rejected in 2 months or 6 months after I've been a terrible partner, or I could just end it now and try to let them know that it's not their fault, it's my own fault. Like, I mean, I'm not validating that. I'm stepping into their shoes and,
Sure.
and saying what they may be rationalizing. What I think it is about introverts. So introverts really do only have a few friends that they feel comfortable hanging out with for the depth and the like often,
Yeah.
right? And they have a lot of acquaintances, and with acquaintances, acquaintances are those people that they haven't decided are worth the energy, basically.
Yeah.
So kind of what you were saying, and that's a terrible way to say it. But I think because they are often the ones being pursued rather than the ones pursuing, they're often the ones who okay. So anyone who's chronically online has seen those people who say, like, introverts don't make friends, they just get adopted by an extrovert.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I've seen that.
Well, I think that's, there's a lot of people who are socially awkward and then they never fix it, but they make friends because other people have tried really, really hard. And then what that means is when they finally find somebody that they really, really, really want to make friends with, they don't know how. And they don't know what the appropriate boundaries and efforts and expectations are for someone, especially someone like you who's like, look, I need some give and take.
Yeah.
I can't do this myself.
Like
which I think is,
I need a laugh emoji when I send an Instagram, or I need somebody to text me at the end after we've all gone home and said I had a good time. Like those are things I need. Just confirmation that spending time with me was a good use of their energy.
Is that maybe some of your own insecurities?
Probably. Now listen,
Okay.
I'm probably a bad friend for introverts too. Introverts probably don't like me very much because I probably come on too strong. I had an old friend that we used to play X-Wing together.
Mhm.
And like I was the kind of person that would text him at the end and being like, "Hey, I had a really good time playing X-Wing." And he probably gets that text and he's like, "Oh my god, who is this needy, clingy, like awkward? This guy keeps verbally confirming that he likes me."
Yeah, is he interested?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
He should have asked.
Well, I mean, okay, so picture that's like the girl that you've been hanging out with going, so what are we?
And
You know,
I
if he's
would have just been
asking,
like,
what are your intentions?
what are my intentions? I want to play X-Wing
Right.
again. Is why I send those texts. like if I'm sending a text that says I had a good time, you did a cool move, the intention is that I want to repeat that experience again.
Right.
But
You want
instead,
there to be a second date.
yeah, I want a second date. But then instead, I just get left on red or no response at all. Like, what am I supposed to think if they don't respond to just basic confirmatory text like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
if I don't get a response to a text like I had a good time, that makes me think that it was not reciprocal, or it was not reciprocated, that they did not have a good time. When really,
Yeah.
their phone is just charging and they're recharging. Yeah, y'all may not have seen it, but I did the little air quotes there.
Oh, yeah. I missed that.
But they're just like, sit down, get under a blanket. When I don't think a return text is asking that much.
Yeah. Okay, so what else here? We've got return texts. And I'm going to... This is not really a pushback because I agree with you, but I am going to confess to being a bad friend sometimes. I have some texts currently that are unread because I see the preview, and so I know that they are... I know what the texts say, and it's only 2 of them, but I know what the texts say, and so I go ahead and swipe them so that they don't get a read receipt. So it's not left on read, It's left on delivered, even though I know what it says. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I don't know how I want to respond or whatever, or I'm so busy, I'm in the middle of writing something, I don't want to break my flow or whatever.
Sure.
And then I'll forget about it till I see that I had an unread message like maybe 2 days later, and then I was thinking, oh man, if I respond now, that's really awkward. Like,
I mean,
or they might think I'm initiating it. So let me give you an example. Like, this isn't a real life example, but let's say you texted me to say, hey, I hope you made it home okay. I had a really good time. Let's do it again sometime. And I left you on read, or I didn't even read it, so I left it on delivered or whatever. And then the next day I wake up and I wake up late, so I'm in a hurry and I don't respond. And so now it's 2 days later, say it's Monday morning, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to respond to that text. If I respond on Monday saying, hey, I had a good time too, it might lead you to think, oh, is he trying to set something up for this weekend? And I'm not saying, like, there's nothing wrong with that, except that an introvert might be like, I don't want to schedule anything new right now. I still need to recharge. If I'd responded then, it would have been okay, but now I can't respond because...
And this is where we come back to my Mythical Meta's, like, mantra. Just honest, clear communication. All somebody would need to say to me is, I got your text, but I got distracted. I had fun too.
Or even, I had fun too. Maybe we can play again in a few weeks.
Yeah. If you don't want anything...
Just be honest.
Just be honest. Like, I think that's what I always prefer. If somebody doesn't want to be my friend, just, like, tell me up front and be done with it. I would much rather someone tell me up front, rather than agreeing to a hangout and then flaking or whatever. I would much rather somebody say, you know what, that sounds fun, but I don't know, because I also might not accept this. That sounds fun, but there's a new episode of whatever I need to catch up on. And see, I don't know that I would accept that either.
Yeah, that would sound worse to me. Like the episode. It's not like the episode's gonna go away.
Yeah.
In fact, this may be its own hot take. I'm annoyed when people now that streaming is a thing and shows don't come out for their 30-minute episode and you watch it or you miss it. I'm annoyed that you have to catch it tonight instead of hanging out with me.
Yeah, but I do have to watch Bachelor live though.
Well, that's part of what I was thinking.
I do have to watch Bachelor live because the podcast that I follow,
the recap,
they do live Discord chats over it as the episode's happening. And I can take part in those if I watch it live.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're ready for the water cooler conversation in the morning.
But, like, this is obviously specific to me, and every introvert out there has things specific to them, and I get that. But, like, the podcast that I watch covers The Bachelor as if it's a sporting event. And so, if I am watching it live, I can make commentary like it's a sporting event with them. But if I don't watch it live...
you have plans with other...
that's me saying I have plans with other people.
Right. And that's fine. And I would accept that differently if someone said, hey, I have plans with other people to watch this tonight. It's already, like, it's something we do every week or whatever. But a lot of people... Like, the latest thing is Bridgerton, right? And I'm sitting there...
Or House of the Dragon.
Online.
Coming out on Sunday evenings.
And everybody's like, oh, gotta watch it. And I'm like, you could also watch it Monday. Like, you could watch it, an hour later. You could watch it 2 hours later. Mm-hmm. Like, if the only time that we can hang out is right after your favorite show just dropped, like, okay, I see that you don't just value the show more than me. Because that might be legitimate. If it's your fandom, like, and I'm a new friend...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't just value the show more than me, but you also value seeing the show an hour earlier than you value me. And that to me feels that's a little bit more of a slight than because, like,
yeah. And that goes back
to Star Wars movie comes out.
That goes back to what I was trying to say earlier is that I have to prove that spending time with me is worth it. That I have to convince someone to spend time with me. And I feel like most extroverts don't need as much convincing. They're
right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, let's find a time. I can't do these because of prior commitments, but let's do whatever. This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Eldorado Gaming. Eldorado Gaming is your site for gifts and gaming accessories like dice, playmats, and other items to bling out your games. This product showcase is our Treasure Dice. For the fledgling dice goblin and for longtime collectors, these dice come in 8 beautiful and striking color varieties. If you want to try out the weight and feel of metal dice, these are the dice for you. Use the promo code META for 10% off your order. Find us on YouTube at Eldorado Gaming TX or our home site at eldoradogaming.com. So
I have the opposite problem with extroverts, which is I can't find a time to hang out with them because they're too busy.
See, and here's another thing. I think I'm an extrovert, but I still only have, like, 6 core friends.
Yeah, same with me.
Now, Kristen, I think, is really something special. I think she would say that she is an introvert, but I don't think that's true. I think she's an extrovert too. Because she is like always calling up, friends from college, family, and like just she has so many old friends that she is always catching up with.
Well, and I think that's I think that's evidence that she's an introvert.
Really?
She's not out there making a bunch of new friends. She just sticks with the ones she's got. She's like, I've got enough friends, and I can't handle adding new ones, or I'll lose the old ones because I can't have that many. So I'm just going to stick with the ones I've got, and we're not going to go meet new people. Yeah,
that may have just been a galaxy brain moment for me. I didn't think of it that way.
Right, because they only have enough emotional space for a certain number of people.
She's only got enough bandwidth for 10 friends,
and she's filled it up.
Her family takes up 5 of those.
Right.
I take up 1, but she doesn't really have to carve out time for me.
Well,
she's already made the default decision that all spare time is me.
Right.
Yeah, she's trying to carve out time away from you. I got to chip it down.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
Because Sarah and I have the same issue, kind of. Not the same, but like the same dynamic that you and Kristen have, where I only have a few core friends and she's got a lot more. And that is actually just a time issue where she's constantly looking for things to do with the kids. Yeah. And one of the easiest things to do is to take them to see somebody with that also has a bunch of kids. Yeah. And all my friends were my students and my fellow teachers. And, if I'm interacting with 200 people a day and then coming home and doing work at home, I didn't really feel like I had time to make additional friends because while I might need more than 6, I certainly don't need more than 150.
Right.
So that might change now, where I'm like, let's make some more friends.
Yeah. Because Kristen's got a book club now that she goes to, I think every other week, or maybe it's once a month.
Yeah.
But she has a call with her 2 Oklahoma friends that happens every couple weeks. She has a call that happens with her Notre Dame friends that happen every couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Like they have scheduled Skype times.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. I couldn't.
I know. I couldn't do that.
I mean,
but do you think that's an
introvert
introvert
thing? But that's what you want.
Sort of. If they have strictly scheduled hangout times?
I don't know if that's an introvert or extrovert thing. I think that's more... But I do think introverts can handle that pretty well because... So you have these established friends that you already know what you're going to talk about. You already have the core memories together. Mm-hmm. You've already done all the hard parts. Sure. And now it's just maintenance. It's comfortable. Right? Introverts take a while to get comfortable with people. And so she's not doing anything to make new friends because she's filling up her time with comfortable people. And I'd probably say even a step further than that, I think introverts do a great job or a better job being online or on the phone rather than meeting people in person. And like clubbing or going to any third place like Derek talks about. Or, those sorts of things where there might be strangers. There's no strangers online. There's either anonymous people that you can totally ignore with no repercussions, or there's the people you seek out and are already close to, and so there's no chance that someone's going to come up to you and say, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" Or and that includes in the gaming sphere, right? This is a gaming podcast, and if I get on Magic Online, I can chat up that person if I want to, or I can mute them and totally ignore anything they say in the chat box. And they're almost not a real person. Right. Right? Or any MMORPG, pretty much all online gaming is either the people are non-existent, like they're there and they're real people, but you don't have to treat them that way. Or it's your friends and you're all gaming together and you're on your mics and you're I think that's an introvert's paradise, right? Where it's a highly curated friend space and you are in complete control of your interaction or what interactions you're willing to subject yourself to.
Right.
Now,
subject yourself.
I know, Randy. I guess that's what bugs me about introverts is they treat hanging out with people like it's a punishment of some kind. Whatever time I'll subject myself to.
I felt like I was kind of introverted.
I think most people go through phases, so I see that. I think it's a spectrum.
I think I'm just introverted around new people. But I mean, if I know you, I'm very extroverted. Yeah. So I guess I'm just shy, coy.
Oh, Randy. Tee-hee, tee-hee. Now, obviously, hot takes are meant to be inflammatory. I have introverted friends, and I have been introverted myself, but it is harder. It is harder to be friends with introverted people. So, how can introverts be better friends?
Well, I do want to push back on the introverts thing because each one of us has identified things that we have personally screwed up on. I've mentioned having having unread or unresponded to messages. You've mentioned, I don't remember what you mentioned, but it was something.
No, I am a perfect friend.
Of course. Oh, you mentioned being, needy and whatnot, but I think you mentioned, you were like, well, I've done this. We've mentioned, Derek taking time to recharge, and so I think it's wrong to single out introverts. I think we should take this to say, okay, here is a problem that introverts may have more than others, but ultimately a guide to being a good friend, and this is especially a guide to being a good friend to people that you're going to spend a lot of time with, like a gaming group, a family group, an
RPG group,
an RPG
or an
group,
online
an accountability
guild
group,
or whatever.
Right. If you were going to establish a group that you want to get to know better, you need to be a good friend, introvert or extrovert or whatever. And being a good friend carries certain responsibilities, right? The whole idea of friendship is not one-sided. It is not, I'm going to play hard to get. It's not, I'm going to reap all the benefits and have people who listen to my problems and people who will get me out of a bind and people who will celebrate me on my birthday. And I'm not going to do any of that back again, right? And so I think there needs to be a recognition that if you're going to be a good friend, you need to have open, honest communication, and that it goes both ways, right? Feedback, clear communication. You work very hard to make yourself understood and to understand others.
Yeah.
If you can tell that someone's pursuing time with you and you don't think that that's a terrible idea, well, first of all, if you do think it's a terrible idea, just say it. Just tell them, hey, I'm not in a place to make a new friend right now. Spend your time somewhere else. And that might sting them in the short term, but ultimately they'll stop going, man, I don't like having to convince this person I'm worth spending time with. They'll go make a new friend, right? If Travis, how would you react if someone just said, look, I'm not interested in making a new friend right now. It's not you, it's me. Go spend your time somewhere else.
I'd be like, okay, cool, click.
Exactly.
I can move on. Yes, I'm annoyed, but I can move on.
Perfect. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And I would feel that too. I would be a little miffed at first, but it would be very short because I'd be like, okay, good. I'm glad they told me that so I can go spend my time doing something else.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of introverts, they don't feel that way because when they actually decide to actually devote effort to making a friend or spending time with someone, they really mean it. They're very, very interested. They're already a little bit emotionally invested.
Okay.
And so they are worried that if they tell you straight up, I don't want to be your friend, that it's going to hurt you in the same way that it would hurt them. Because they don't have, 60 other people that they want to talk to. They chose you and you rejected them. It's almost like asking someone out on a date that you like a longtime crush out on a date for them. And so I think introverts need to hear this, that if someone is pursuing you as a friend and you are just not interested, don't act like a flake. Don't agree to things and then not show up. Don't tell them 2 hours early that you need to recharge when you had no interest in doing it in the first place. Just straight up say, hey, look, I'm not interested in being a friend right now. I'd rather watch TV. And then let them move on and not feel the rejection over and over again.
Yes.
So, and that goes for everybody. Everybody needs to just be honest about their intentions. And, would you text someone saying you had a great time if you hadn't had a great time?
No, not at all. If I didn't have a great time with somebody, I would just not text them after.
I'm a bad person. I've done this on dates.
No.
Except I text the person. I was like, yeah, this was a lot of fun. Maybe we do it again sometime. And then it just slowly fade away.
I am so glad that I met my wife in college before online dating really took off. Mm-hmm. I'm just so thankful.
It was a nightmare
that I managed just in time.
Yeah. Oof. I can't imagine trying to date after college.
Yeah.
I did have it happen to me too though once. Went on a date with a girl in College Station. We met up, went bowling, made plans to meet up at Northgate later on that night, her and her friends, me and my friends. And then she just never got back to me after that.
Completely ghosted.
I was like, dang, I thought we had a good date.
Dang. Ooh, that hurts.
But, yeah, it's okay.
But
I was like, All right.
And it was just you showed up at Northgate and they never did.
As far as I know, I mean, I went there. I had other friends that I was with. I was with a group, and it's just we had planned to see each other again there at Northgate.
I feel like anybody would prefer a text or a call that said, "Hey, I'm not coming," rather than being stood up. Being stood up is it's just such a sign of disrespect. It's like, I want you to waste your time with no intention of making that time worth it. Ugh. Mm-hmm. So messed up.
But that was like 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, Benjamin, were those your words of wisdom?
No.
Okay.
No. I have a bunch more points here.
All right. More points. Go.
Man. Okay. So be open and honest about your feelings and your interactions with people. And I think if that was just the expected norm in society, everybody would be better off. But there's that. But then also, I think some allowances need to be made on both sides for understanding that some people want to have more friends than others, and some people are more interested in making friends than others. And for everyone to just know who they are and make an effort to figure out who the other people are, and have a little bit of grace for the people who are not the same. Be understanding. And I think, obviously, working to be empathetic and understanding will help everyone be better and be better friends. And then finally, recognize that if someone is earnestly trying to be your friend and you like that, you want to be their friend, you need to put in some effort. And this will go into a kind of a long-running theme on my Mythical meta, which is do hard things.
Yeah.
If it's draining and tiring and uncomfortable to initiate a text conversation or to go bowling when you're tired, or whatever it is, but you're interested in that person and having that person as a friend, do it anyway, because they will appreciate that you made an effort to pursue them and it's not one-sided. Because people like Travis here recognize when a relationship feels one-sided and they start to withdraw or get frustrated or move you down on their list of friends.
Yep.
Right? Yep. They'll take you out of their MySpace top 8.
I was literally about to say that. You might be bumped down to number 9. I don't know about y'all, but my MySpace top 8 was a highly curated, very special set of people back when I was in high school. Absolutely. That was really
you start
important.
Dating someone and move them into your top 8 and you break up and they're gone.
Yep. That was an important thing to keep track of, too. I was always going to my crushes page to see if I was ever in their top 8 or not. I wasn't.
Right. Well, the big decision was always, you broke up with somebody, who are you moving into that 8th spot?
Oh, yeah. Who comes into the coveted number 8?
That's right. Now that we've dated ourselves quite a bit, the point is, for you introverts or extroverts that are either selfish or new to this friendship thing or have trouble with social interactions, there are legitimate reasons to not necessarily know how to be a good friend, but you should also be working on it. You should be making conscious efforts to do things once you know that a potential friend would appreciate it, that it could help. And now I'm telling you, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's an excuse not to do it. For the ones that you don't want to expend that energy on, just tell them so that they aren't feeling that constant rejection. And for the ones that you are interested in, do it even though it's hard, because they will appreciate it and y'all can draw closer, and eventually it will become easier for you as they move into your inner circle and you don't have to expend as much energy to hang out with them. And so it works better for both of you if you'll take a few moments during the early stages of your friendship to do things that don't come easy to you. And of course, extroverts, once you've made an introvert friend, you're going to have to spend more energy to deepen that friendship.
Yeah.
Right? This friendships are lifelong tests. They're lifelong, especially deep friendships. Lifelong, what am I trying to say?
They're like forged in the crucible of just time. They're not easily broken once made.
Yeah. And it's easy to make a gaming group of acquaintances, people who share a hobby, and that's what you talk about when you get together or whatever. But you find out, the real friends are the ones who, come to your dad's funeral, or, comfort you when your dog's been bitten, or they offer you a place to stay when a hurricane comes through, or whatever. And those are the people that you're really trying to curate with what we're talking about here. Yeah, having a game group's great, I mean, that's what the main theme of our podcast, but it's not the main theme of friendship. You know, I would still want to hang out with Travis and Derek and Randy, even if we didn't play Magic. You know? I'll play whatever they want to play. You know, we played Mage. We're gonna start a Martian Colony campaign soon if I can get that put together.
Yes.
We're obviously Travis and Randy are going to Japan. I doubt they're gonna play much Magic while they're there. You know, it's a thing that transcends just simply playing games together, and that's important, and it takes effort. Sometimes it's going to be difficult. Sometimes your friends are going to be going through a hard time, and you're not going to have fun with them, but you're going to be there anyway. Sometimes, you know, you're going to encourage them. Sometimes they're going to encourage you. And encouraging people is not easy, you know. Sometimes your friends have done something wrong, and you don't want to encourage them. You're kind of pissed at them. Calling someone out is something that good friends do. And so, how to be a good friend could take 20 podcasts. But ultimately, the word of wisdom I want to leave people with is make the effort to do the things that don't come naturally to you. Don't use your energy levels or your discomfort as an excuse to not be a good friend.
Thank you. That's how introverts get better. God. Benjamin, how can people reach us directly?
They can email us at mymythicalmeta@gmail.com.
Randy, what's our Patreon?
Patreon.com/mymythicalmeta.
Thank you so much. Thanks for listening. And thank you, Benjamin and Randy, for being my great friends. Adios.
Bye.
Later.
This episode was sponsored by Eldorado Gaming. Use the promo code META for 10% off your order. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This episode was edited by me, Travis Konishek, and our intro and outro music is by Tyler Heath of the Oh Hellos.